The Fool, blissful carelessness, the power of ignorance. If it refers to another person, which is often the case, it is a carefree creature who just can't be bothered with ambitions and elaborate plans. It may frustrate you, but you can also learn from it. Few things seem serious in the moment. Does the fool seem happy? Are you? Depending on those two answers, make your choices. If it is an event, which is not that often the case, it means that nothing goes according to plan, and the only thing you can do about it is to have a good laugh. Some things are such that the more you try, the less you succeed. A situation can be sort of slippery. An opportunity slips out of your grip, and you can get lost on a path that seems ever so straightforward. But still, don't worry about the outcome. If it refers to you, it means you are the fool, for now or for long, for good or for bad. Usually that seems bad, but turns out to be good. You are able to deal with things in a carefree, improvised manner. What bothers others seems to have no effect on you. Congratulations! But if you have plans, don't expect them to be completed. The Magician, a sudden solution as if by magic, but it may be just an illusion. If it refers to another person, and that is usually the case, then that person is one who trusts that, so to speak, magical solutions. It is not the realistic approach, but the daring and the imagination of it may still actually work, at least for a while. This person may be impressive and seems to accomplish the impossible, but you probably have your doubts. You should. If it is an event, which is not that likely, it suggests a situation where the solution comes as if by magic, inexplicably. No logical approach would solve matters, but the absurd just might. Something totally irrelevant may prove to be the only relevant course of action. It is not altogether trustworthy, even if it seems to do the trick, but it may be the only remaining option. If it refers to you, then you are the one attracted to actions that may seem both irrelevant and a bit absurd. Your approach is unconventional, to say the least, but that is exactly why it might work, to everyone's surprise. But you should avoid applying that approach to things as a matter of routine. That just won't work. Know the time and the place for it, and stay cautious of what it might lead to at length. The world of magic is not predictable. The High Priestess. Secrets and hidden circumstances stand in the way and need to be understood. If it refers to another person, which is mostly the case, it is someone who has the key to the solution but holds on to it unless you are deemed worthy, and your intentions are the ones approved. This is a person important to get on your side, but that can only happen if you prove to be on his or her side. You may not even understand what that covers. If it is an event, there is a complicated problem needing to be solved, almost like a riddle, and you must contemplate in order to see it. Others may not even realize that there is an obstacle, but if not recognized and dealt with, failure is certain, although it may come as a complete surprise and nobody knows why. If it refers to you, it means you are in a position to solve problems where others would fail miserably. You have the key, even if it is not even obvious to you. Your advice should be followed, but it is not sure to happen, since people just don't see what you see. Nothing to do about that. No number of words works on those who don't listen. The Empress. The gentle power that still rules, almost unnoticed and rarely opposed. If it refers to another person, which it usually does, It is somebody very resourceful that you do best to humor and get on your side. The Empress is kind at heart, you will find. So there is no reason to protest. If you are just polite, all will be good. If it is an event, it calls for calmness and careful consideration of the choices of action, since things are much more delicate than they may seem. Also, it suggests that you accomplish much more by gentleness than physical force, even if you are able to do the latter. Search not to win, but for a win-win solution. Everyone will praise you for it. If it refers to you, it means you have the Empress qualities, be it temporarily or constantly. You are the cooling influence on any heated situation, the one trusted to find a peaceful solution even to a problem involving a lot of calamity. Others do well to follow your gentle lead, and several of them understand that. The Emperor, you are up against real power, so yield or suffer the consequences. If it refers to another person, it is someone you just have to obey whether you want it or not. He or she has the power to decide the outcome, and it would cost you very dearly indeed to oppose. You are likely to be aware of this beforehand, since you know what power you are up against. If it is an event, you have to accept that the outcome is out of your hands. It is decided elsewhere, and you just have to comply or suffer the consequences. As they say, you can't fight City Hall. If it refers to you, though, it says that you have the power to force the outcome of your choosing, but probably not without a fight. Don't worry, you will win it. The High Priest, the dependency on approval from an elevated dignity. If it refers to another person, which is most often the case, it is someone very self-important indeed, whom it is of vital importance to treat with respect, whatever you might feel about it. You need that person's approval. At least, you can't afford offending him or her. Watch out, because the High Priest is a person that is much more important to the final outcome than you might expect. Definitely more than what seems reasonable. If it is an event, it is a moment of great symbolic significance, which can lead to triumph or to defeat. The importance of it must be respected, or things are unlikely to go your way. Still, your own influence is minimal. Things beyond your reach and ability are involved. There is not much more to do than hope for the best and make sure not to offend anyone. If it refers to you, then you are in a position that others can't ignore. It is not exactly one of power to decide or spring into action. It is just that you can't be opposed and your preferences can't be ignored. You don't have to be modest about this strong influence, but you should. Tomorrow, in another situation, things may be very different, and people remember. To be respected is far from the same as being liked or even admired. The lovers, deeply felt mutual attraction for as long as it lasts. If it refers to another person, and it often does, that is someone who is on the edge of falling in love with you, if you just accept it. Well, it can happen whether you accept it or not. The person indicated is a lover. If you succeed to escape it, another will be the object of that love. The card may also point to a couple who are in love or about to be, none of them with you. Still, it is likely to have an effect on your life, good or bad, making you need to relate to it. If it is an event, which is not uncommon, then it is an opportunity for you to fall in love with someone who is just as likely to fall in love with you. A chance to love, simply. More than a chance, really. The card is most likely to indicate that it will happen, whether it is in your plans for the future or not. If it refers to you, it simply means that you are the lover, for the moment or always. You search for someone to love, or you have just found that special someone. It is not at all sure that this someone will feel the same for you, but the odds are on your side. Love is contagious. In any case, you will find yourself acting on that emotion wherever it leads you. The Chariot, triumph, but beware of its consequences at length. If it refers to another person, which is not that often, it is someone who grants success with whatever is at hand, also yours, even if your accomplishment might not have been decisive. If it is an event, which is what it usually does, it indicates a most fortunate outcome. But you have to consider what the long-term consequences might be. Envy from others is definitely one of them. If it refers to you, it shows you being impressive and successful. You have the ability to get where you want to go. Remember that the trick to accomplish lasting success is to be modest about it, and that is not always easy. Strength. Strength of a kind that is superior because of its clever application. If it refers to another person, it is someone who knows how to apply the resources to where they accomplish the most. Such strength is power. You should make that person an ally and learn from the experience. But remember that there are also other ways entirely to solve problems than any kind of strength. If it is an event, it would be one where victory goes where it seems the least likely. Strength, as most things human, is in the mind. The problem at hand needs true strength, not just struggling with all your might. Find the smooth application of your abilities. If it refers to you, then you tend to utilize strength before considering other solutions. You have it, so you hurry to make use of it. That is really a weakness. It may be temporary, upon meeting a problem that frustrates you to begin with, or it is the way you tend to react. In any case, consider when strength of any kind is appropriate and when it is not. Quite often it is not, even when it seems to be needed. The Hermit, the lesson and reward, but also misfortune of being alone. If it refers to another person, which is often but far from always, it is someone refusing to get involved. He or she tends to go away in solitude whenever having the chance, and is most hesitant when approached by others. A difficult one to charm indeed. You and others wonder if that person is at all aware of your existence or cares about it. So, it is not one easily made to commit to any kind of companionship. If it is an event, it means that now is the time to retreat and contemplate the situation carefully. No action is appropriate for the moment. Give it time. Consider all the options. By time, a solution might appear. You should wait for it. If no solution appears, no matter how long you wait, you might do well to consider to leave the whole situation be. Do nothing about it and move on elsewhere. If it refers to you, it means you tend to isolate yourself from others, either just in the present situation or as a constant personality trait. You should know which one it is. You avoid company and involvement in the lives of others. You don't want to pick sides and make choices, at least not before you have had time to contemplate matters deeply. Others may react with outspoken impatience, but that will not change your mind. Actually, it only makes you more committed to listening to your own mind instead of their words. The Wheel of the Year, an uncertain outcome with an aftermath to be carefully considered. If it refers to another person, which happens rarely, it is someone willing to risk it all on the hope to be lucky. You can't say what it will lead to, So be careful about how much you commit to that person. Are you also willing to take a chance? If you really are, then this person is your ticket. If it is an event, and that is most often the case, it means that the future is hidden regarding the issue at hand. Anything can happen. It is hard to prepare for anything, but you can at least be prepared for a surprise. What is most likely to happen is what you considered very unlikely. If it refers to you, it suggests that you have a tendency to risk too much with too little preparation. You want to improvise it, whatever problem it is you are facing. That kind of improvisation can sometimes lead to really good solutions, but the opposite is just as possible. You should choose carefully when you want to leave things to chance. Justice. Justice without blindfold is not always fair. If it refers to another person, which is not the most common case, it is someone determined on making a judgment about you and the situation you are in. This person is hard to convince. It is even dangerous to try. You can do little more than be honest and hope for the best. On the other hand, it is not sure that this person's decision has that much of effect on your life, other than in your relation to him or her. If it is an event, it means you face a trial of some sort. If it's not necessarily in a court, but there will be a judgment made and it will affect you. Probably, you have very little influence over what the judgment will be, no matter what you do. So you do well to prepare for any outcome. If it refers to you, it means you have to make a judgment about a person or a situation or a combination thereof. It is not a pleasant task, but necessary. You should remind yourself that justice is difficult to reach because truth is elusive. We just don't know all, and therefore we are rarely fit to judge. So don't hurry to your conclusion. Try to be forgiving if there is any reasonable doubt involved, and there almost always is. The Hanged Man, great personal sacrifice that still doesn't hurt much. If it refers to another person, which it often is, it is someone who is willing to make the sacrifice needed for things to find their solution, even if that sacrifice is completely unrewarded. It is an attitude worth admiring, but people tend to do so only secretly, keeping it to themselves. That may be out of guilt, knowing they should have volunteered to make that sacrifice. If it is an event which is not that common, then it is one where a personal sacrifice is needed. It may be yours or someone else's. The question is, who is prepared to accept making it? If no one does, there will be no solution. If one does, whoever it is, things will be fine for everyone but the person making the sacrifice. Life is not always fair. The consolation for the one making the sacrifice, if anyone does, is personal satisfaction. That's quite something. If it refers to you, it means you are the one readily making any sacrifice needed, either in the present situation or as a constant personality trait. You have no fear of becoming the martyr, so to speak. Others will admire you for it without telling either you or anyone else, but they will also urge you on to make your sacrifice whenever the situation is such that there is something to gain from it. For all or just for them. Don't make your sacrifice for any little thing. Death. A costly loss, sometimes, but not always, the death of someone. If it refers to another person, which is quite rare, it is either someone marked by death or something harmful will happen, or it is a person bringing it. Such a person is an acquaintance that can be very costly to you, even dangerous. Be cautious. If it is an event, It is something that's sinister, though not necessarily death, happening in your surroundings. It may distress you more or less, but it is probably not happening primarily to you. Still, there is reason to be careful. If it refers to you, it may very well be a serious warning about your health or some other very serious problem already striking you. If you can change the path you are on, you should. It is a warning. It may also mean that you can cause problems, even serious harm to others. Temperance. Moderation in all is ultimate resolution. If it refers to another person, it is someone with the quality of temperance, the ability to patiently await the solution and never try to rush it. You may get impatient, even frustrated, but trust his or her tempo and try to slow down to it. If it is an event, which is mostly the case, it proposes extreme caution because the final outcome is not what first appears. If you have the patience to wait, your reward will be sweet and lasting. If you don't, then you are not likely to accomplish much at all. You might even make a bigger mess than what you faced in the beginning. The card can also simply imply that you have a time of inactivity ahead where nothing much happens. If it refers to you, it means you have stopped to act and learned patience for the thing at hand or for good. Time will tell. It can also mean that you find yourself unable to act, although you feel the need. Something holds you back. It may be irritating, but still it can be a good thing. Excessive speed should be avoided in most cases. The shadow side, the pain and delight of giving in to temptation. If it refers to another person, it is somebody behaving in devilish way, wild and tempting. It is the kind of person you know you do best to stay far away from, but that is not easy. If it is an event, it is an opportunity to let go of your shyness and satisfy your lusts. Explore what you have not dared to before. Of course, as always with the devil, there is a price. Be prepared to pay it once you have followed your impulse. The devil card asks the question, do you dare to fall for temptation? And if not, do you have the strength to resist it? If it refers to you, it is because you have done away with many of your inhibitions and act upon your lusts and longings, even when others might be upset or even condemn it. You are sort of devilish, be it for long or just for the moment. Well, have fun while it lasts. It should be full of energy. The Tower, a spectacular ambition that ends with disaster. If it refers to another person, which is unlikely, it is someone capable of destroying things that seem as solid as mountains and hurrying to do so. It is a person who is victim of the destructive instinct. Although costly, it is necessary in the magnificent plan of things. What goes up must come down, and someone has to make sure of it. But of course, that person is a dangerous ally. If it is an event, and that is usually the case, it is the unfortunate end to an ambitious project. Failure. Probably, you aimed too high or lifted a weight that was far too heavy. It couldn't last. Should you insist on your ambitious goal, you must be prepared to do it all over from the start, and there will be additional obstacles to overcome. If it refers to you, it means you have a mentality that is bound for disappointment and complete failure. You need to change. You want to be serious about things that demand patience and care. Most things do, at least the important ones. You might have reached the end of your patience after a long time of setbacks, But still, your urge for decisive and forceful action is a mistake. Even if it is difficult, you need to calm down before you do something without careful consideration. The Star, time to pause and reflect. Contemplate what is precious and what is not. If it refers to another person, it is someone who inspires reflection, making you think carefully where you are in life and where you really want to go. You should cherish it and let that person's attitude influence you, at least for a while. But don't make the mistake of thinking that he or she brings some kind of solution. If it is an event, it is a moment when things stop, so that you have time to reconsider which you should do. Goals are questioned, so are values previously confirmed. You should sit down and meditate until you are open to completely new perspectives. If it refers to you, then you are caught in a calmness that some would call a coma. You stop to reconsider just about everything. That is refreshing and sometimes absolutely necessary. But don't get stuck in it. You still have a life to live. It is a vacation, not a calling. The Moon, longing for the sake of longing and the hope of fulfillment. If it refers to another person, it is somebody who awakens your longing by seeming able to fulfill it. But that is not the likely outcome. Instead, your longing will probably be increased, which is not at all a bad thing, although frustrating at times. If it is an event, it is a moment when your longing is obvious to you and things happen that increase it. It can create a confusion of emotions in you, but you welcome it, though with some anxiety. At the very least, you are reminded of your emotional needs and the importance of trying to satisfy them. If it refers to you, it means that you are kind of a victim of longing. That can be temporary or something constant in you. You should be able to decide which one it is. There is little you can do about it. If you follow them, they grow. And if you refuse them, they still grow. It can be frustrating, but it does indeed make you feel alive. Others, though, may find you overly sentimental or obsessed. The Sun, great resources at your disposal, but force yourself since it is possible to have too much. If it refers to another person, it is someone extremely resourceful and willing to help. But don't accept more than you need and can handle, or there may be terrible consequences. That person has no obligation at all to serve you, so don't force his or her patience. If it is an event, it is a golden opportunity. Things happen from which you can prosper tremendously, but still limit your greed. Consider what you really need and what would be gluttony. A good fortune can be just as difficult to handle as a bad one. If it refers to you, it means you are in a position where you can accomplish great things without even trying that hard. You might hurry forward beyond what is wise just because you can. Take care. Just because you can do what you want doesn't guarantee you what is good for you. Karma, ultimate judgment whether we welcome it or not. If it refers to another person, which is not that often, it means that he or she is very judgmental and not inclined to change his or her mind about it. In the eyes of somebody with that characteristic, few people pass. You are not likely to be an exception, no matter how hard you try. But if you do, you are approved for good. If it is an event, as it most often does, it means that a final judgment will arrive and there is nothing anyone can do about it. the solution to whatever situation arrives, and it has almost nothing to do with the actions of those involved. It just happens, as if there was never any alternative. Opposing it is useless. If it refers to you, which is rare, you are indeed the one making the final decision on the matter at hand. Still, it is not that you have much of a choice. You may even decide against your own will. It is just that you must do what the situation calls for. There is no other way. So, although you have the final say, it is like you have no say at all. You just know what decision has to be made. The world. Success in anything worldly, but not for free. If it refers to another person, which is not that often, it is someone who can offer success on a silver platter. But watch out for the price tag. There is one, although it might not be evident at first. If the deal is too good to be true, it is probably not. There is no such thing as a free lunch. Be moderate. You can get a lot from such a person, but settle for less than what is offered. If it is an event, and that is almost always the case, it opens up plenty of possibilities beyond your initial expectation. But be careful with your choices. There is a bill to be paid always. What you can get from this opportunity may exceed the bill significantly, or it may not. So before you jump into things, consider what may be the consequences at length. If it refers to you, it means you are willing to risk it all for an opportunity coming along. You want to go for it without hesitation. That is fun and can be rewarding, but it can also lead to unexpected disadvantages, though it may take quite long before they are revealed. You should really be cautious of your own eagerness. Don't bite off more than you can chew, but sure dare to take a bite. King of Swords, the power of what can't be changed, regardless the outcome of battles. Some things one must accept. It suggests that you should remain objective in your current situation. You must establish truth by sticking to the facts. It implies that you will need to use your intellectual power to make your point known and attain your goals. Besides your experience and education, you should be sharp and observant to see deeply into problems that come your way. It also shows that you need to be serious in your role while ensuring that you have clarity of mind at all times. When judging a situation, you need to consider all the possible consequences to make an appropriate judgment. You will need to leave your emotions out of the judgment so as to maintain rational thinking at all times. It suggests that you should take time to reason with others and be candid with the observations that you have made. As far as your personal life goes, it urges you to use your intellect and logic to maneuver the path that lies ahead. You will need to confront the issue at hand and make a sensible decision. It implies that you should be able to look at any situation and make a decision with complete impartiality. Queen of Swords, mighty power and the knowledge of how to use it. Victorious even without going to battle. It is an example of an older, wiser feminine intellect. She could be thought of as the most masculine of all the queens, and may come off as quite serious and emotionless. This card represents the importance of making judgment without relying on emotion alone. It encourages you to look at all the facts before making a decision. This queen does have compassion, which is why she has her hand reaching outwards in offering. but she wants to connect to people using an understanding that is intellectual. This also means that you will need to become independent with your judgments. You must rely on the unbiased intelligence, which has you researching alternative viewpoints and thinking carefully on your decision. Compassion and empathy in these cases can distract you from your task, so try to keep a strong objective view while avoiding getting emotions involved. This can also be about the way that we speak with others. This queen has the ability to tell people the way it is. This allows her to get her point across, so there is no confusion about what is being said. Above all, truth is important to her, so she feels no need to soften her comments, thoughts, or opinions. She also expects the same frankness from other people, so this means that you need to be clear with everything that is being said, even if it may hurt. Knight of Swords, charging right ahead whether that is wise or not. That is the spirit by which many battles are won and lost. When we are thoroughly obsessed by a certain idea and strongly wish to manifest it, we are oftentimes so blinded by the actual desire for its fulfillment that we fail to note the difficulties which we may come across, or the actions and consequences that it could bring. The Knight of Swords is a very powerful figure that is full of life as well as energy. This needs to be balanced with a proper and actual realization of compassion and responsibility. Once the knight sets forth towards his goals, there is absolutely no stopping him. He doesn't see and he doesn't care about any upcoming challenges. He is filled with absolute ambition, strength, and determination to succeed with his quests no matter what. However, this determination could also blind him to see the potential consequences of his actions on others as he makes his way to success. He may charge forth into a very dangerous territory without preparation or actual foresight, and this could lead him to great danger. Page of Swords. Bravery to the point of being careless, but there is so much more to win than to lose. Bright and alert, the Page of Swords is someone who never seems to run out of ideas. She is curious, always asking questions, and gifted with a sharp tongue and quick wit to match. Her natural ability for language also makes her an incredible communicator, and with her love of ideas, you may find her always engaged in some passionate debate. She seems to prosper on almost a kind of nervous energy, as if there was too much inside her to say, the wheels in her head always turning. As a news bearer, she may bring news, particularly gossip, legal matters, or agreements. Alternatively, you may find yourself required to use her energy. Be alert, keep your eyes open, and stay sharp and vigilant. This card may indicate that you are very eager to execute an idea that you have been having or a project that you cooked up just recently. You are quite passionate about it and you cannot wait to share the progress with others. Compared to your passionate heart, time seems to be standing still. It is time to be talkative. When a Page of Swords appears in a reading, it signifies communication and sharing of ideas. Whether it is someone else's ideas or yours, it is time to open up and talk about them as long as it is constructive. Ace of Swords. This is an exclamation mark here for the principle of serious action. There is approaching need of it. Do something. As with all the aces, the Ace of Swords indicates that one is about to experience a moment of important discovery. With its sharp blade and representing the power of the intellect, this sword has the ability to cut through deception and find truth. In layman's terms, this card represents that moment in which one can see the world from a new point of view, as a place that is filled with nothing but new possibilities. It is therefore the best time to work on your goals, as all the aces give green lights and are signals of waiting opportunities and new beginnings. It might also be a good time for you to seek justice and the truth in all matters, since your conscience is clear and your thoughts are happening quickly. If you rise to the occasion, your sharpness and clarity in thought will be rewarded. When we look at the swords closely and see its double edge, we are also reminded that this sword may be either used for righteous deeds or to deal destruction. It all depends on the person, and is a warning too that excessive power holds the danger to corrupt. If you stick with principles, the sword will serve you well. Two of Swords. Where to go when both directions are risky and still speed is called for. You must decide, although you can't be sure. When we see the Two of Swords in a reading, we are encountering a stalemate. Two equal and opposing forces are joined in battle, and there seems to be no end in sight. This wasn't what you had in mind when you chanced to walk down this path, and you find yourself caught in the middle. Without something or someone to take part to prevent or change a result, this may continue indefinitely. We find ourselves in a situation where we must make a choice. We can side with one part of the situation, or we can side with the other. Neither seems particularly appealing, which makes the decision even more difficult. But unless we move past this stalemate, there can be no more progress. The Two of Swords is often related with balance and partnership. It signifies the need to keep your relationships balanced. Regardless if it is in business, friendship, or romantic relationship, you may find yourself struggling to maintain the current state of affairs and may find yourself caught in the middle. In regards to your work, you may be currently stuck and perhaps waiting on another party's decision. Remain patient and avoid pressuring people in making their decision abruptly. The Two of Swords meaning may represent a warning to have caution. Like the woman in the card, you may be choosing to keep the blindfold on, hoping the problem will just go away. You should avoid evading any issues that you are facing, since it will not solve your problems. Three of Swords. Does everything work against you? Is there no way to go without getting hurt? Take no step before paying attention to the warning. The Three of Swords represents the message of rejection, betrayal, hurt, and discouragement. In moments like this, we are well served by the mind. If you can think logically about it and prepare for the experience, the impact of this pain may be minimized. But remember too that pain and grief are a normal part of life, because they make us appreciate what joy and happiness we have, as well as teaching us. It is through pain that we learn to avoid mistakes that could lead us into danger and grief. It is therefore a necessity in the journey of life. The Three of Swords, therefore, is a representation of suffering that is meant to make us stronger, more careful, and more observant. Sometimes life gives us no choice. We are knocked down. But what determines one's future is the choice of whether to remain knocked down or rise again. Each little piece of suffering you encounter serves as a stepping stone to find a deeper meaning in this world. This card comes at a time when you need to prepare yourself for this next stage in life. While the grief may be extremely hurtful, it enables you to forget your past and focus on your future, knowing that you have control of what actions you take afterwards. Do not think, speak, or write so much on what is troubling you, but instead, focus on what is approaching because you determine your destiny. Four of Swords. Not every hero won the battle, but it is still heroic. Treasure how your action will be remembered. After the time of chaos, anger and pain represented in the Three of Swords, the Four of Swords can signal that it is time to retreat. The Four of Swords is a moment of rest. Whether this is from a choice to withdraw or whether it is from pure exhaustion, it is not clear. We are still weak from the wounds that were inflicted, and the battle weapons still hung above us as a very serious reminder of what was lost. In order to continue and re-emerge in your daily life, you must take the time now to take a breather. There is always the unclear fear that something more is bound to happen again, and it is advisable that you take all chances to rest. You need to gain strength and clarity in a quiet environment away from your current circumstances. It is time to reevaluate, organize, and understand your priorities. This helps to rejuvenate one's spirit and you come out stronger than before. The Four of Swords indicates that it is time to gather new strength and prepare to face a new challenge. You have faced crisis after crisis and it is exhausting you. You can face a new challenge only after getting away from everything and embracing a new atmosphere. Take the time to nurture yourself to re-enter life. Within us glimmers hope, and it lies quietly, waiting to reveal itself after we are healed again. Five of Swords. Betrayal when the battle is over. Time to ask what the battle was really for. This card indicates that you are engaging in a conflict of some nature. It can also suggest a disagreement with others, which leads to hostility and tension. Despite the fact that you think you've won, you might still lose in the big picture, because you have annoyed or hurt those that you have argued with. And as a result, you are on the road to isolating yourself. Perhaps at the moment, you believed that it was more important to be right, rather than appreciate and understand where the other side was coming from. Right now, it is important to attempt to pick up the pieces. You still have the chance to act while the conflict is still fresh. You may feel as if everyone and everything is against you. You might also lose some friends along the way. This is why you will need to make a significant decision about your point of view. What is more important to you, mutual progress or winning? This might require you to stand up to a conflict within yourself. The card represents ambition in a way which is rather negative. Too much ambition without actual regard to the consequences or the people that you affect is never something good. Misplaced ambition, such as the one represented by this card, can leave you as a disappointed loser or a heartless winner. In both cases, the implication is rather negative. This card instead asks us to be more considerate of those that we surround ourselves with, to let go of ego. Six of Swords, a most expensive outcome of a big journey. Either bitter defeat or a victory won at too great a cost. Still, you will persevere. The meaning of the Six of Swords is that you are experiencing a transition of some kind, but one that is not happy and filled with regret. This transition will most likely be the result of decisions you made in the past, and now they are forcing you to leave something behind in order to move forward. Despite your sadness, You need to remember that moving on is the ideal option for your future. Life is filled with moments when you are going to be forced into letting go of things that you have become attached to. This will be challenging. The Six of Swords shows the sadness that you may be feeling, but you have to remember that the pain will not last. So you should look instead to the future for strength. In life, there will be times that the only way to fix a problem is to leave it and move to start again. You may feel like this is the coward's way out, but escape is the only approach that is left when you have tried all other methods. The important part is to secretly plan your new direction that will lead you to happiness. The Six of Swords in this case is to plan using your logic, clarity, and objectivity about where you are now, where you have been, and where you want to go. Intuition can help, but you need to think logically to ensure your success. Seven of Swords. Betrayal right before the final battle. It may not lead to defeat, but victory is suddenly more distant. The Seven of Swords in general is said to be about betrayal and deception. When you get this card, it may suggest that you or someone else in your life is having difficulty getting away with something. There are instances when we are forced to be deceitful, hoping that we will not be discovered. When we are found out, we have to face the consequences, whether it is embarrassment, punishment, or worse. Sometimes this happens when there are instances when you had to make a quick decision and did something that was somewhat rude or out of character. Now there is a danger of the secret coming out. You may be tempted to disappear from somewhere, indicating a situation that is no longer working as expected. Instead of dealing with it, you choose to leave and hope that you will go unnoticed. Perhaps you were hoping that this issue would just resolve itself over time and you've neglected it, leaving it to only grow and get worse. The big question when looking at the Seven of Swords is whether escaping will solve this problem that you are facing. While you might be thinking that you have gotten away, you discover that the situation has cornered you and you are found out as you are trying to escape. There are instances when the Seven of Swords may indicate the willingness to go solo. You may have the urge to explore and discover some things on your own. This can be an effective approach if you want to declare your independence and bypass group agreement. The Seven of Swords symbolism may be encouraging you to go on this path. Sometimes innovation comes from a dishonest genius. Eight of Swords, helplessly in the hands of others who seem to show little compassion. Cause for anxiety but not panic. The general meaning in the Eight of Swords is that of a feeling of being trapped and victimized. You may feel powerless because in your mind, you feel that changing the situation might be beyond you. This feeling of helplessness that you have, the feeling that you have no company in your life, has played a major role in making your situation worse. Surrendering one's power to an unknown entity, whether it is destiny or God, the government, or something else, means that you are giving away your own personal responsibility to affect change. You have willingly gave up the driver's seat in the journey of your own life, and it isn't going well for you. It is advisable for you to avoid making an important decision at this time since your judgment is likely uncertain. The good news is that because these traps are things that we create ourselves, we can also leave them if we put our minds to it. It is simply the matter of taking off the blindfold and seeing beyond the limited perspective that we created for ourselves to see the possibilities and to recognize that you have your own internal power. Nine of Swords. Regret of choices made and anxiety of choices urgently needed to be made. There is no way out of responsibility. The Nine of Swords is often associated with fear and anxiety about all the things that worry you and keep you up at night. Sometimes this card can be associated with trauma, one which may be shameful for you to reveal with others about, and all the psychological responses that come from experiencing that trauma. When we are never released from the entrapment represented in the Eight of Swords, we escalate into the Nine of Swords, where we are troubled by nightmares. The Suit of Swords is one that is concerned with the mind, with logic, with intelligence, and with communication, but somehow the Nine of Swords was caught on the destructive end of the mind, the one which turns inward on itself, multiplies, and becomes worse. Questions are bothering you, and you find yourself reciting all the possibilities, all the things that can happen to you. You are haunted by what could be. There is a sense of repetition within this card that some event which has troubled you before and one which you managed to either hold back or run away from is coming back again. Sharing your grief does at least provide an outlet for your pain and may release you from carrying this burden alone. Is there anyone that you can feel comfortable speaking to? Ten of Swords. Complete defeat, probably because of betrayal. You may suffer, but you are not to blame. The Ten of Swords indicate a major disaster of some sort. It shows that a certain force of extreme magnitude has come to hit you in your life, one that you may have not foreseen. There is a sense of betrayal that is indicated here, for the character is stabbed in the back. This seems to be a reminder that despite how much we try, we cannot control everything. There are things that are beyond our ability to change. Here, this situation is unavoidable. The tale of the Suit of Swords is a powerful figure of speech, one that ends in tragedy. The swords are a symbol of the intellect, of intelligence and logic, and yet we find the final climax of this suit a complete and total defeat of the spirit. We must realize that the swords are a weapon that can have huge potential for destruction or for good. The story as it unfolds from the Ace to the 10 is one where an untrained individual uses this weapon for faulty reasons, makes many mistakes, and then spends an entire lifetime attempting to run away from the power that he misused. This person believes the swords are external to him when they are part of him, and when they automatically return, he once again suffers. His pain is not the pain of his circumstances usually, but the pain of fear, of anxiety, of not being able to be a master of his surroundings. After the hopelessness of the Nine of Swords, what could have happened? Were you strongly affected by the pressure? Or did you take the final sword upon yourself and admit defeat? The Ten of Swords represents that situation where your mentality is self-pity. You feel like there is nothing you can do. Pause and remember that as with the Death card, the end of something means a new beginning. Let go of what you have lost and focus on the new path forward, because that is where your life is meant to go. A good example is a breakup with your partner. Though it could be intensely painful, it could also be the beginning of a new sense of independence. King of Cups. Nothing wrong with being very pleased except for displaying it to cause jealousy. Take nothing for granted, not even yourself. The King of Cups is one of the most influential cards in the suit of cups. He represents creativity, emotion, and the unconscious. The card shows the ability to prevent one's emotions and be fully in charge of your feelings and impulses. Therefore, the King of Cups represents a balance between the intellect and emotions. He indicates that there is a strong relationship between understanding and feeling. When you have balanced your emotions and are able to control them, it means that you have a deeper knowledge and awareness of yourself. When you are faced with challenges that would normally throw you off balance, the King of Cups is there to remind you that you should act as he does. Do not fly out in a rage or immediately throw yourself into despair. You first need to temper the state of your emotions so that you can progress forward in reality. Learn to evaluate yourself so as to determine how you can create a stronger awareness of your own internal state. There are instances when the King of Cups can symbolize an older male who is in your life. This is a mature man who is willing to take responsibility for his actions and has mastered his own self-understanding. The King of Cups tends to be political and diplomatic, and this makes it possible for him to balance the needs of others and enhance the harmony among all parties involved. The King of Cups shows that you are sensitive as a leader and you are careful with the way others respond to your emotional needs. The King of Cups implies that you should remain mature when dealing with negative energy. Queen of Cups. Stuck in obsession, what the feelings use to trap the mind and vice versa. It is not worth it. We can understand the meaning of the Queen of Cups from taking a closer look at the woman in image. She is seen as compassionate, caring, sensitive, and nurturing. She connects with people on the emotional level, so people enjoy her honesty and fairness. The appearance of the Queen of Cups in a reading can be guiding you to find help from others. Most times, like the other queens, this is a female figure that will come into your life. The Queen of Cups has an intuition which is very powerful and is only matched by the one of the High Priestess. The Queen of Cups acts as a mirror and reflects the depths present in others, so they see themselves in a new light. Most times, the Queen of Cups can also represent the trusted inner voice you have within you. She seems to say that you should take the time to focus on your emotional health before trying to help others. Self-love creates compassion. The Queen of Cups can also reflect your relationships with other people. You may be the emotionally strong rock that serves as an anchor for someone else. You may be here to help teach and support others using your intuition instead of logic. The Queen of Cups normally thinks with her heart instead of her mind. She can lack rationality and common sense, but she can also be intuitive, dreamy, and almost psychic at times. The Queen of Cups could be the answer to your problems when a logical approach is not working. Knight of Cups. Pride makes lousy armor, but we are all even more vulnerable without it. Make sure you do something to be proud of. The truth is that the Knight of Cups is the most feminine amongst all the Knight cards. It is important to note though that this doesn't even slightly suggest that he is any less of a worthy knight. It implies that he is in proper touch with his emotions and his intuition, and that he uses them for his own well-being and during his many romance and seduction quests. He is usually quite attractive and charming to others, regardless of their gender. When faced with an actual decision, the Knight of Cups is going to listen to his heart, regardless of whether this is actually a logical choice or not. He can also manifest as an event or a person in your life or a part of your own self. He appears as a messenger, and with him, he carries an invitation or an arrival of something or someone which is going to have a certain emotional benefit for you. As a knight, he is also charged with taking the gifts of his suit and bringing it outward into the world. He therefore can also represent the undertaking of some project with significant emotional or creative value for you. Page of Cups. The twist of it all, funny or sad, when looked at with open eyes, anything is amusing. Expect to be surprised. One of the most important meanings within the Page of Cups is that you should be open to new ideas, especially ones that stem from intuitive inspiration. The card seems to state that such inspiration should be embraced, despite it being something that you may not expect. It could lead you to adventure and open many doors. If it is a calling of a creative nature, for example, one to get into music or art, there is a special strong push for this card to go for it. When you are being faced by difficult situations and you have stopped chasing your dreams, the Page of Cups seems to say that you should tackle the issue from a totally different perspective. It symbolizes persistence, as this is the only way that you can make your dreams come true. Listen to your intuition, follow your calling, and believe everything is possible. For those that are afraid to reveal their emotions, the Page of Cups could mean that it is time to release and show those emotions. The creative you and the emotional you should both be expressed, no matter how insignificant they may seem. In most cases, some people cannot express themselves as they want to protect their ego. The Page of Cups indicates that it is alright to have a new beginning, to welcome the real you. Ace of Cups. The ace is an exclamation mark. Now, it is all about feeling comfort in a time of sadness. Bliss is around the corner. Getting the Ace of Cups shows that it is time to let loose of whatever emotional baggage you have and start living your life to the fullest. Like with all the other aces, there is a new beginning that is indicated here, a chance to start fresh. It might come in the form of opening yourself up to the possibilities of new relationships, romantic or otherwise, that have the ability to make you emotionally fulfilled. The release indicated by this card may either be spiritual or emotional, depending on what you are going through. The Ace of Cups may come to a reading after a long period of being lonely or enduring something that deeply hurt you emotionally, and its appearance may be there to announce the turning over a new leaf. It is important for one to open themselves to more opportunities for friendships, love, and spiritual learnings. There is a chance now to put your past behind you, for you are being offered the gifts of the cups. It is up to you whether you take the cup and drink to the fullest. Two of Cups. Partners, companions, lovers. Whatever the bond, there is great pleasure in sharing with another. To see the Two of Cups is an indication of a partnership that is built on the union of forces, a strong connection, and a balanced and equal partnership. The exchange of cups suggests that each party's emotions are connected with the others, and each participant's feelings have heartfelt effects on the other. A strong pair is indicated here, the joy of two becoming one. When it comes to work, you may notice that the people around you will start to appreciate you more. There is a mutual respect here, meaning you will also be more comfortable in your workplace. If you are looking for new job opportunities, this card may be a good sign. In terms of love, the card represents commitment, a balanced relationship, and love. But this does not simply mean that you will no longer need to take care of your love to make it last. The card only signifies that true love and affection is present. In your finances, the Two of Cups is associated with fairness and balance. This means that you are currently financially capable and you have the right amount of money to deal with your obligations. In relation to your health, people who are currently facing some health issues need to look for a practitioner that they will be comfortable working with and whom they can trust. In spirituality, it is a call for you to be more adorable and loving towards the others. You are receiving positive energy from the universe and you need to share that energy. Three of Cups, celebration in the cheerful company of dear friends, a time to remember. The meaning behind the Three of Cups represents a period of happiness. You will be able to forget the worries of your daily life and spend quality time with family and friends. To see the Three of Cups can indicate a happy reunion with a long-lost friend, relative, or loved one. It can also mean a celebration, whether it is your own or for someone who you love. The event can be a birthday, wedding, or any other happy occasion. In general, it is about spending quality time with people you cherish in your life. The three maidens represent your circle of friends who you turn to for love, compassion, and support when you need them the most. It can be old college buddies, colleagues at work, or people you have shared a special bond over the years. If you have had problems with your social life, this card can signal the end of those hardships. You will be able to resolve differences and learn how to deal with the problem. Four of Cups, dissatisfaction. When you've had enough, what can pleasure you next? The question that brings on melancholia. The Four of Cups tend to appear when you are feeling discouraged and unmotivated. You may feel as if there is no solution or way forward in your situation. Life has become slow and nothing seems to make you happy or passionate. You are feeling uninterested regardless of what happens, whether the day is good or bad, none of it matters to you. The Four of Cups commands a self-evaluation of your attitude so that you can pull yourself out of this boring routine. The solution is likely right in front of you. The hand is offering you a way out, but you release yourself out of your mental stubbornness and use new approach. You must search your motives, instincts, and thoughts so that you can find your passion again. The Four of Cups revolves around finding your true interests and working towards fulfilling them. Our lives are short and sometimes monotonous, but we must create meaning for ourselves. Our individual callings are not just there for us to find, but to decide and to imagine. Five of Cups, despair. Life lost its taste. There is no remedy against darkness but accepting it. It will end eventually. The Five of Cups symbolizes disappointment and the feelings that come when things go differently as you expected. You are feeling unhappy that a certain situation hasn't really turned out the way you have hoped it would. Instead of moving towards a more positive perspective, this card seems to say that you are living in the past, causing feelings of self-pity and regret. The water which is actually spilled from the cups shows that you might have missed an opportunity. It also shows that the problems is mostly emotional and not material or financial. The meaning of the Five of Cups shows that you may have certain issues, letting go of things which are in the past. What is more, it also shows that you are unwilling to learn from mistakes that you have already committed. The card is often going to reflect a person who is so caught up in his past that he is absolutely incapable of moving on. This means that he has a high chance of missing out on what new joys that the future can bring. Six of Cups, joy and childish happiness. Nothing seems complicated. No threats are approaching. Cherish the moment. The Six of Cups generally represents generosity, innocent happiness, and childhood. It can stand for you wanting to return to a happier time, whether it was when you were a child, teenager, or young adult. Many times, these memories are things of the past, which reflect the aspects of ourselves that have disappeared. You may feel that remembering these times is the only way to feel happy. The Six of Cups appearing in a reading seems to indicate that while we may look upon the past with a happy eye, we must avoid living in it. The Six of Cups can also mean that you will be returning to a familiar place. This could be your hometown, an old friend's home, a school, or any place that holds a lot of meaning for you. You are seeking to reconnect with people from your past. Bringing back old memories reminds us of our childhood, a time when things were simpler. Coming after the Five of Cups, this card can also suggest that you may have suffered a loss or disappointment of sorts, and you are making the journey home. You are looking to the past to find the answer to the crisis or challenge that you are facing now. You may be seeking the comfort and warmth of people that unconditionally love you, gathering strength to face the trials that are in front of you. Seven of Cups, how to resist temptation, how to quiet the burning desire for everything in the world. That which you want is an optical illusion. To draw the Seven of Cups in a reading shows that you need to clearly see the shadows and visions in your imagination, not only in your dreams but also in the real world. You should be careful of wishful thinking and be alert of the choices that you make. In one sense, the Seven of Cups indicates that you are a dreamer who is both excited and afraid of the things that you see in your unconscious. In another, the Seven of Cups is a reminder that although it is good to have dreams and wishes, it is even better to take action attaining those dreams. At one point in life, you will need to stop fantasizing and face the reality of life. If you are unable to make a decision due to the many options that are available, you should evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of each option so as to make the best choice. It is important to exercise caution when you are making your decision, as the card itself seems to show there is not only wonders and treasures that are available to you, but also monsters and shadows. There are some cases when the Seven of Cups may show that you are living in ways that are not necessarily grounded in real life, that your actions are guided by illusions that you feed yourself. Your ideas may be so up in the clouds, developed only on your imagination. As such, you will need to separate what is real and what is not so that you can make better choices. The Seven of Cups is also linked with temptation. Eight of Cups, turning away in disgust from having discovered that what seemed so sweet had a bitter aftertaste, but it brings maturity. The Eight of Cups signifies time for change or transition by means of walking away from something. Just like a caterpillar has to die before transforming into a beautiful butterfly, we all need to transform ourselves in our lives from time to time. This is the case especially after being tired of living what was the day-to-day and starting on a journey that will help one to have a deeper understanding about life in general. This card shows that you are disappointed with your life and need to experience a higher purpose in life. You may have been exploring your options, playing about from one choice to another, tasting the wine in each cup as a means to sort out what it is that you really want with your life. You are now experiencing a feeling of exhaustion and are coming to a realization that you must step away from what is familiar. It is a choice and a recognition that true happiness will not be found in what you have already created. More often than not, getting the Eight of Cups shows that one is tired of the worldly things and is about to begin on a much more spiritual journey. And if that is the case, then be happy, because change happens when we most need it. Nine of Cups. Gluttony inflates the mind as well as the body. So does complacency, the gluttony of the mind. After a long journey, the Nine of Cups symbolizes the finding of self-satisfaction. The emotional journey of the Cups is starting to come to a close after the uncomfortable ups and downs you face in the earlier numbers of this suit. You have struggled to find purpose and joy after loss. You have tasted the different things that life offers, and you have left comfort in order to find greater heights. Here, you have found them, and you are indulging yourself as you celebrate this new stage of your life. When we look at the Nine of Cups, it can initially seem like one of the most pleasant cards that may appear during a reading. This is also referred as the Wish card, which means that the things that you desire for or your most perfect dream is bound to happen. The Nine of Cups is normally associated with extreme happiness and satisfaction. With regards to your work, there is a good change that something wonderful will happen in your workplace. It is time for you to push on your suspended project, or if you have something that you desire greatly, there is a possibility that you will finally achieve it. It also holds a positive meaning when it comes to love. Your romantic relationship with someone is destined to reach a new level. In case you are still single, this is the time to socialize with new people. In terms of finances, the Nine of Cups is also a positive messenger. It can mean that the financial state that you are hoping for will soon be achieved. In your health, the test that you have to undergo will lead to positive result. The good energy that you are receiving at the moment should be used to improve your health habits. Ten of Cups, the bliss of accomplishment when benefiting all involved. The reward of the worthy. From its joyful drawing, we can assume that the Ten of Cups embodies happiness, joy, contentment, and emotional satisfaction in your family, relationship, or companion. It represents an ideal state of comfort, harmony, peace, and love, which makes you feel like you are in paradise. This is where all your dreams, wants, needs, and wishes have been fulfilled, and you feel a complete sense of satisfaction. Take a moment and breathe. Look around you and be thankful for all your blessings. This card signifies something that so many of us are searching for. To see the Ten of Cups is to indicate a true emotional fulfillment, one where the lonely self-satisfaction of the Nine of Cups is shared with others to create a true sense of community and family. After learning how to love oneself, the Nine of Cups matured into the Ten of Cups, which at its core about how true happiness stems from building genuine bonds and connections with others. This card is most associated with a sense of happily ever after, of family, of lasting harmony and peace. This is an indication of harmonious family, for the card shows you that you are living in the perfect peace. No more adjustments or shifting is needed. You are in the right. Just relax and enjoy your moment. In a love reading, this card shows that it is romantic, real and genuine, and has a strong potential for something long-term. It deserves all your effort to make it come true. The Ten of Cups could also indicate a family holiday where you can relax and spend time with family members. King of Wands, wealth that is hard to keep. What is the point of prosperity if you don't trust that you can hold on to it? Envy is a poison also to the object of it. The meaning of the King of Wands represents pure energy. Unlike the other Wands cards in the deck, this particular one is not focused on pure creativity. Instead, this king is actually way more likely to take an idea and to decisively implement it himself. The King of Wands is a natural-born leader of people, and he is also extremely capable. Once the king sets for himself a certain aim or a goal, he is going to conveniently stick to it in order to ensure that it becomes a reality. The King of Wands looks forward to all sorts of different challenges, whether great or small, for he gets a natural adrenaline rush associated with the solving of problems. Queen of Wands, you have your possessions and know how to keep them, but do you know how to increase them? Don't settle with what you have or it may fade. In general, the Queen of Wands in a reading meaning may represent a person of extreme focus and intense passion. She is courageous and individualistic, though at times she may appear self-centered. They have a positive and an uplifting energy. They represent someone who is willing to be by your side and stand up for you. In terms of work, the Queen of Wands signifies that you are planning to accomplish a significant amount of achievement in just a small amount of time. In the event that you are looking for a job, the appearance of this card may mean that a woman will play a major role in your career move. Generally speaking, in terms of your career, things are looking pretty good. The Queen of Wands in questions of love also sends a positive energy. For people who are searching for love, there is a possibility that you will find it soon. When it comes to your finances, there is a chance that you are being carried away on spending a significant amount of money. We advise you to keep your expenses on check, or you will regret it in the end. In terms of health and spirituality, the Queen of Wands meaning may pertain to a spiritual hunger, a quest, or a search for meaning. Knight of Wands, you have grasped the opportunity and boldly move forward. Great promises of success as long as you just sit tightly on your saddle. The Knight of Wands symbolism is straightforward. When it appears, it means a great time to get away and travel. The person should feel charged up and full of life. One is also ready to get things done. He is adventurous and can find fun things to do no matter where he is. There is never a dull moment when the Knight of Wands is around. When the Knight of Wands shows up in a reading, it seems to suggest that the seeker wants to complete important tasks. One wants to impress others with one's knowledge and skill. The card also shows up when the person is planning to move to another place of residence. If you are starting a creative project, then you should do so with lots of energy and enthusiasm. However, You should balance it with realistic and well-rounded views. You should also have a plan that takes into account the consequences of your actions. Getting the Knight of Wands in a reading can also mean that there is an event that you don't expect to happen soon. If it is accompanied by the Eight of Wands, then you should expect a lot of changes in your life. More often than not, the Knight of Wands indicates a quick change of job, residence, or anything in your life. Page of Wands. Plenty of possibilities, so many that it is difficult to choose. Do something and you will prosper, but wait no longer. When we see the Page of Wands, we see a youth with enormous excitement and curiosity for the world. He knows what to do. He has the passion to succeed, but due to his inexperience and maybe a little fear of the unknown, his ideas remain non-realistic. He identifies new worlds to explore, new opportunities he could take advantage of quite easily, and he is even gifted with a big picture vision needed to succeed. Even with all of this, he still has a tendency to either remain in a deep sleep or get easily distracted with one idea after the other. If he doesn't learn to control this, it might be that he wastes the opportunities to advance himself. When you get the Page of Wands, it simply means something is within you, something that triggers you to make discoveries, allow yourself to enjoy in investments, or take the next advancement in life. You could be just about to take a move on a certain idea, but some conflicting messages keep coming to your mind and you get discouraged. This card matches your inner battles, which are preventing you from expressing your heroism to the world, to let the world know that you exist for a reason. If you are wise enough, this card is normally a trigger of courage. It should make you overcome the personal discouragements and move forward boldly to launch your ideas in the real world. Remove the fear, gather your resources and do something. Let the world know that you are there and you have no jokes about moving forward in the path that you choose. Conquer every obstacle. Let your ideas shine and be known to the world, because this card indicates a level of success that can only be achieved when courage is used. Ace of Wands. Every ace is sort of an exclamation mark. Something important, even remarkable, will take place in the case of Wands regarding your material circumstances. It is neither good nor bad, but very significant, indeed affecting your relation to material matters. Wands symbolize creativity, and the Ace of Wands is the boldest among the cards in the suit. It is not the kind of creativity that you learn from school or as a hobby. It is bravely finding your own voice. It creates a place where you can develop your own vision. In other words, it is associated with willpower and creativity in the cosmic sense. When you draw the Ace of Wands, it is an indicator that you should just go for it. Take the chance and pursue an idea that you have in mind. Take the first steps to start the creative project. The Ace of Wands calls out to you to follow your instincts. If you think that the project that you've been dreaming of is a good idea, then just go ahead and do it. The Ace of Wands can also perhaps mean that you are waiting for a sign to start a project. To draw this card pushes you to act now, instead of worrying over research and more planning. Take small steps today and then continue to grow your ideas over time. Action is what helps you grow and build momentum. Don't remain in the abstract. Another Ace of Wands meaning is the occurrence of an important discovery moment in your life. It is a time when you are motivated and inspired about a passionate project or idea. You are excited about the opportunities that are opening up for you in the near future. Two of Wands, longing for the world and all it has to offer, although you may already have a decent share of it. The Two of Wands is a more mature version of the Ace of Wands, meaning that this card is all about planning and moving forward, progression. Look at it this way. You have already set out to achieve a particular task, which means you have turned an idea into a realistic plan. Such a plan will require fulfillment, and therefore, you have to progress from just having the plan to actually achieving what you set out for. Discovery is being considered as another Two of Wands meaning. This is because it means that you are stepping out of your cocoon and exploring new experiences and worlds. While the beginning might seem tough and difficult, the Two of Wands card encourages you to make great efforts and push forward. The Two of Wands card also means that you are beginning to realize your objectives and long-term goals before you set out to achieve these objectives. In other words, you have tried hard to get to where you are, and now moving forward, you have your long-term goals in mind. In summary, the Two of Wands meaning revolves around making decisions. In other words, you are either satisfied with your current knowledge or you are moving forward and taking risks. It means leaving your comfort zones and exploring new territory. Three of Wands, missing the world and all the good things it has offered. The card of having partaken in something rewarding but now being passed by as if obsolete. The meaning of the Three of Wands hints that you are planning or going to plan for the future with more conviction. This could mean that everything around your plans is going smoothly as you have taken the time to plan for your future and are taking steps to turn plans into action. It hints that you are perhaps creating a stable foundation for yourself. The symbolism within the Three of Wands is that opportunities can take place to widen your horizons in many areas. It also is a warning to keep your mind open as better opportunities could open up to you. As you take steps towards achieving what you set out to do, you are also becoming more aware of opportunities that are coming your way. And this could take you out of your comfort zone. This pushes you to sometimes embrace change and to start thinking in the long term. The Three of Wands can show that you are in control and have a strong position, just like the character that overlooks and stands strong. The Three of Wands is one of the main cards of foresight and vision. Lastly, the Three of Wands meaning is that of travel in search of what you are seeking. There is a sense of leaving home, a journey that must be undertaken. Great things do not happen to those that simply wait for them. You must expand. For most readings, this shows that you may travel to a new land over the water and that you may find an opportunity during your travels. Four of Wands, the celebration of a homecoming of sorts, returning from the world enriched and pleased, receiving the praise and rewards for it. The overall meaning of the Four of Wands is that it indicates celebration as well as a harmonious, happy and relaxed home environment. In terms of numerology, the number 4 symbolizes stability as well as particularly reliable foundations. These are associated with a period of happiness and balance. The symbolism within the Four of Wands poses that this is the perfect time for you to get together with close people such as friends and family. This could be with or without any special occasion. Oftentimes, this card is known to reflect a period of holidays when you are together with your friends and family for an extended period of time. It might also be suggesting for you to invite your closest friends for a great and intimate dinner and share a laugh or two. Furthermore, if you have been working on a certain project, this card entails that you will be reaching a particularly important milestone. This is going to provide you with grounds for celebration, which is also to be considered. You have managed to complete a proper and most important phase of that project, and meaning you have every reason to be feeling proud and satisfied, which are amongst the general feelings caused and reflected by the Four of Wands card. Five of Wands, calamity that may be full of energy but can become costly. What seems easy at first turns complicated when ambitions collide. From the image on the card, the symbolism in the Five of Wands suggests that there is form of conflict in one's life. This may be an existing conflict or one that is preparing and may eventually blow up in one's face. It may also portray a problem in communication, for example, in a situation where no one really wants to listen to the other, meaning that no agreement or understanding takes place. The five men may signify problems in a group of people who are not patient enough to listen to what anyone else is saying. They only want to be heard, and since none of the others will listen, they all argue at once. Much of this can be solved by the seeker taking the first step to try and initiate communication in such a way that you suggest that everyone discusses in the open what they have to say one at a time. By doing this, you will be able to address the problem and everyone will be heard, meaning they will all be satisfied. The Five of Wands can also mean that you are or will be facing a competition in an area that you are not used to. This can be at work or school where you will meet people with the same abilities as you who create quite a challenge, leading to feelings of jealousy, greed, and envy. This card encourages that you accept the competition as a way for you to improve yourself without feeling any hatred towards them. This means that you should learn how to deal with them in a civil way. The Five of Wands meaning could also be a personal struggle that you are dealing with on your own. This can be on a number of issues that affect you, hence, you need to address them and find a solution for them. You will need to identify where the problems are and offer a solution that will handle the case. Six of Wands, success and great gain in material matters, making others want to join you. But don't forget to prepare for rainy days that may come. This particular card is all about public recognition, victory, and success. Not only have you managed to properly succeed in achieving all of your goals, but you are also being publicly acknowledged for them and the results that you have managed to attain. You have received an award or some sort of public praise. The card is suggestive that you have managed to use the strengths and talents that you have within you in an attempt to bring a particularly successful outcome in your life. You have managed to properly get through the confusion and handled to properly minimize distractions, thus successfully focusing on your goals and achieving them. It is also worth noting that there is a slight disadvantage apart from the overall positivity that stems from the card. It can bring self-importance as well as egotistical behavior and arrogance. This could make you think that nobody is better than you. Seven of Wands, struggle to hold on to what you have. Others try to take it from you. The Seven of Wands has a similar meaning to the Five of Wands. Both cards indicate struggles after the initial fulfillment and satisfaction of an event. The Seven of Wands, however, is different as it is about the struggle that you need to go through to maintain your position rather than to attain it. This is about the difficulties we face to continue to have success. You should be ready for the competition to defend your title and to prove yourself. Others are going to desire the same results that you do, so you need to stay ahead of them. There will be challenges to the success of your project or venture from an outside source. You must remain dedicated to your desires, and with a clear purpose and effort, you will overcome them. The overall meaning of the Seven of Wands is to hold your ground no matter what is challenging your position. You will need to defend this position and take a stand against those who are aiming to take your spot. There are difficulties during this time, but you need to keep fighting for your beliefs and confront those that may threaten or oppose you and your beliefs. Eight of Wands. Possessions on the move, risking to get lost. Hard work that is costly but necessary to overcome several real obstacles. The image represented by the Eight of Wands means that the difficulties that were brought by the Seven of Wands are finally over. It signifies a strong level of energy which states that different aspects of your life will be new and innovative. Perhaps important news will be coming on your way, and you may experience a sudden yet steady positive growth. The Eight of Wands meaning may also pertain to your work. There is a chance that the decision that you are waiting for will come your way soon. You need to be patient and just wait for it. When it comes to love, the Eight of Wands meaning pertains to your readiness to be committed on a relationship. However, the card advises you not to force the other party to also be ready on the commitment. Your significant other will soon be ready. Forcing things to happen may affect the result negatively. In terms of finances, it appears like this is not the best time to make quick investment. Just like in your love aspect, we advise you to be patient. Save your money and wait for the perfect time to invest. All things that you fought for are building in momentum. Where you didn't see progress earlier, you'll soon discover that they paved the way for the coming wave of action. Nine of Wands. Recovering after having been overwhelmed by too many disadvantages. You struggled hard, but everything was against you. You want to try again. The Nine of Wands card is one that symbolizes great hope, even when one is faced by many problems that threaten to make them lose their balance. The Nine of Wands symbolizes one's life, which has undergone too many trials, but through their determination and will, they were able to overcome them. However, there are still more trials that the person may face. This can be one major trial or challenge that they are supposed to face for them to reach their goals or be successful in their journey. The card is a sign of hope and encouragement that you should face your trials with courage so that you may attain success. The Nine of Wands may also mean that a person has been betrayed and has thus become mistrustful towards others. This may be because of something that has happened a number of times and might on the first glance seem hopeless. But there is also hope and courage here, and the belief that this outlook is about to change. Someone or something may come into their life that will change their whole view of their past struggles. It encourages one to take that risky move because they may be surprised. 10 of Wands. Too much to carry. Your workload is unreasonable, and still there is no certain reward ahead. Are you being used for others' profit? This card shows that you have already completed the circle of struggle. After spending too many resources and lots of energy looking for success, you have finally overcome the obstacles. Your hard work was worth it. Your efforts have finally been rewarded. You may find yourself living in a world of abundance where poverty and suffering have no chance to interfere. Although it sounds marvelous and satisfying, the card describes a lot of responsibilities on your side. You are now the only problem solver in your circle of family and friends, which could even drive you into another world of challenges. At this point, you are also flooded with responsibilities to maintain your success. The businesses that you have started are flourishing and keeping you alert and ready for anything that might happen. The main problem is that these issues could affect you if you lose control, which requires you to make sure that you know how to prioritize and solve the relevant ones. In the real world, this card expresses how people try to burden themselves with responsibilities after they attain initial success. It is like graduating from college, getting a job, and then starting to make it in the real world. More challenges keep coming. You may find yourself looking after your parents, starting a family, and at the same time look to others, which may make you feel as though you are not yet successful. It becomes a burden because at some point, you find out nothing is enough to accomplish all these duties. The general lesson of the card is that people should be moderate. Prioritize and understand that they cannot solve everything. Some things must be let go, given to others, the burden shared. King of Pentacles. Thinking ahead is the way to confirm what was gained in the past. The key to success is holding on to it. When we meet the King of Pentacles, we feel immediately his majestic and generous presence. He is a provider and a protector, for under his care is a flourishing and abundant kingdom, where its citizens are prosperous and encouraged to grow. He is naturally responsible and reliable, and through the wisdom granted to him, he has grown all that he has acquired from practically nothing. To see him in the cards is to envision success, one that was won by sincere work. Generally, this card reminds us to stay in control of our energy and our resources in search of a larger goal. When it comes to work, the King of Pentacles may refer to a more established man who will play a significant role in your career. This man can be wise and reasonable, but he may also be careless when passing judgment. He can be your biggest supporter, but be prepared to receive unsolicited and harsh criticism. In love, this can indicate that the person that you've been waiting for can come along and will love you for who you are. With regards to finances, the King of Pentacles is one of the best cards to receive. This may mean that your financial situation is stable as a result of your wise investments and hard work. In case you are taking a gamble, be sure to initiate a planned action. Queen of Pentacles. Thinking, unable to get out of it. It is all too serious. But such times are also needed for personal growth. The Queen of Pentacles represents both a down-to-earth woman who plays many roles to ensure that she keeps her family happy. She knows how and when to show love, keeping an orderly home, cooking comforting meals, and takes care of the children. But do not mistake her for being only a homebody. Alongside all these motherly qualities, she can plan business ventures and execute her plans successfully. It is through her naturally talented business sense that she is surrounded by such luxury. She is quiet and does not like revealing her financial accounts, fearing that it could bring more complication to her life, which she desires to keep rather simple. She may have a secret bank account that nobody knows about, for she may choose to be careful, vigilant, and self-sufficient. The Queen of Pentacles therefore represents a motherly figure who desires to help you move your way carefully and achieve your goals with the help of her common sense. She will not only show you love, but she will also show you the way forward whenever you seem to be stranded and confused. With her advice, she will ensure that you do not make dangerous financial decisions. She offers you precautions, principles, and support, all lessons that she has learned in her personal life. Because she is a self-made woman, she wants for you to be independent and wise, such that you are also able to raise others and make them responsible. Knight of Pentacles. Follow a course, stick to the plan, and you can reach even a doubtful goal. You just need a firm decision. The Knight of Pentacles is about the daily tasks and the responsibility that one has to gain through a specific project. This knight has the patience to accomplish all his given duties and is considered by others reliable and committed to his work. To see this card is an indication that there is a need to be trustworthy and reliable. You are fully committed to your assignments and you make sure that you complete your work efficiently. You are absolutely loyal and do the best you can in order to make sure the job will be properly completed. Though your sense of duty is admirable, beware that it does not turn into perfectionism, which can manifest itself in every aspect of your life. The Knight of Pentacles can also represent routine, or the kind of general hard work that you go through every day. The meaning of the Knight of Pentacles also advises that the seeker should continue to do exactly what he is doing. Sticking with the tried and true methods, he will accomplish everything he has set out to do. Sometimes, going with what has already done is not necessarily bad. Page of Pentacles. Time to dream and let the fantasy go. That gives strength and opens for new possibilities. Be optimistic. When we meet the Page of Pentacles, we see immediately that she is one that is ambitious and focused. She is protected, nourished, and provided for. She is deeply tied to the earth, nature, and all of its gifts. She cherishes the body, for it too is something which is a manifestation of her element. Her diligence, ambition, and loyalty drive her to quickly make plans for the future, for it is there where her focus lies. When you meet her, she may be the bearer of news connected to all earthly and material matters. When you hear her message, be inspired as she is. Lay down the foundations to follow your ambitions. Generally, the Page of Pentacles refers to the kind of energy that you need to complete all that is needed for your work. It may point to the determination, focus, and the ability to stick with a particular task no matter how boring it may seem. In terms of work, the Page of Pentacles may signify that there are a lot of tasks you are responsible for, but your time to complete them is much too limited. This is not the time to feel stressed and overwhelmed. Assistance will be there for you. You just have to ask for it. In relation to finances, the Page of Pentacles can refer to the reward for your hard work. For those who are investing their hard-earned money, this is not the perfect time for you to take the risk. Invest your money in a safe and traditional way. The careful and constant effort will pay you back. If you are currently experiencing a health issue, this problem may be the result of the continuous neglect. Let a professional make sure that this is not the case. Ace of Pentacles. This card is like an exclamation mark. An idea is forming, demanding contemplation. It can lead to a lot of good things. The aces are all indicative of new beginnings. When you draw any of them, it means that you are at a point in your life where a new cycle is beginning. You are about to start once again. Because the Suit of Pentacles is primarily concerned with all things material, not just financial but also with the sensual. This new cycle could manifest itself as a new career, the undertaking of a new venture, or the start of putting more care into your health. Wherever this beginning takes place, the Ace of Pentacles assures that what is to come will bring great abundance and opportunity. To see the Ace of Pentacles indicates a seed being planted in the material world in your feelings of security and stability. Like a seed, this opportunity must also be nurtured and sometimes invested in with energy, time, or funds. Watering this seed has the potential to be very rewarding, for anything that is grown on this energy is meant to be stable, secure, and give a good harvest. Prosperity is coming your way. One also has to make sure that they are psychologically prepared for the opportunities that are appearing. To be able to harvest the gift of the Pentacles, we need to be filled with the calm that stability brings. This is a kind of spiritual prosperity, if you will. This kind of mindset can mean we become open to trying new things and not sticking to the old, washed-out routine. Two of Pentacles, confusion. Your mind struggles with trying to make two seeming opposites combine. A contradiction that appears impossible to solve, but it needs to be. The Two of Pentacles is a card about balance. The coins are displayed in a manner that is unpredictable. Any small change in wind or weight can tip and send them falling. For those that may have more coins to go around, they can afford to be less careful, but at this moment, things may be tight. Wealth too is a kind of energy, and it is the kind whose goings in and goings out are easiest and most tangible to see. There is a possibility that you are trying hard to keep the two aspects of your life in a perfect and delicate balance. This could be your career, money, love, and health. The balancing act represented in the card suggests that there are two major factors that you are deeply concerned about. It is time for you to step back to have a better perspective of the situation. While you may initially think it will save you time, multitasking may just worsen the situation. Cut down on your tasks and concentrate on these two factors that are troubling you. You've done a good job keeping things stable, for you seem to be able to adjust well to all the changes that ask you to continually rebalance. When it comes to love, the Two of Pentacles is associated with your inability to provide the energy and time required to make your partner happy. Your partnership should be your main priority, but with all the madness in other areas of your life, you are finding it hard to devote your attention to your loved ones. With regards to finances, you should pay attention on the bottom line. You should have a clear picture on your financial state. Plan your finances accordingly, control your expenditures, and increase your stream of income to create a solid foundation for your future. In terms of health, this card is asking you to find a balance between your own well-being and your responsibilities. It is easy to make yourself the last priority when you have so many things happening around you. Three of Pentacles. Is it for real or not? You wonder about something essential, unable to know where to find the answer. 3 represents the successful completion of a goal, usually involves a group of some sort. In this scenario, the Three of Pentacles meaning is that there is a successful achievement of all the requirements to pursue your business, deal, venture, or any kind of attempt to achieve a goal. Successful projects usually require different kinds of expertise, and at this moment, the Three of Pentacles means that all the skills required are coming together. In short, you are enjoying working together as part of a team and also in the initial success of this bigger project. The Three of Pentacles reveals a successful beginning towards achieving your goals. It is a sign of encouragement that you should press on with the same effort without giving up. You may struggle to accomplish your goals as an individual, but the Three of Pentacles also teaches people not to ignore the talents of others that surround you. You need the collaboration of others with diverse viewpoints, experiences, and expertise to accomplish something more than you could have ever dreamed of. Four of Pentacles. a self-obsessed mind caught by the brilliance of his own thinking. But thoughts can be shared without wasting them. The Four of Pentacles card is capable of generating both negative and positive perceptions. On one hand, the card signifies that you have successfully managed to accomplish much of your goals and you have managed to attain a significant material wealth in the process. However, on the other hand, there is a significant chance that you will start valuing things only for their material worth. You have worked hard to get to the point where you are now, and it is absolutely natural for you to desire to make sure that you remain stable. But this also has a chance to turn you into an overly possessive or greedy person who wants to ensure that no one is capable of taking away your own wealth. The Four of Pentacles is also a card which shows that you are currently in a position in which you have solid investments and that you are financially stable. Because of your newfound wealth, you are being particularly conservative about money, and you are most definitely not inclined to gamble when it comes to any kind of financial matters. You are protective of what you have managed to accumulate throughout time, and you desire to steadily increase your overall net worth. Be aware that without risk, there is no reward. If you spend too much of your time attempting to conserve, you may become a prisoner to your own material possessions. Wealth is a kind of energy as well, and we create what we express. Five of Pentacles. Desolation or great loneliness. You have no idea how to get out of it because you are stuck in old lines of thought. Whenever the Five of Pentacles shows up in a reading, it suggests a time of hardship and insecurity. The meaning of this card can be deep loneliness, illness, poverty, or loss. Your status might take a turn for the worse in the near future. There is a chance that you will lose something significant, whether it is financial wealth or an important item. Deterioration of your health might be already ongoing or be very sudden. This may be feeling cursed. That bad luck is something that can't shake off easily. The Five of Pentacles symbolism can also be that of old debts, high credit card balances, or unpaid loans. It is a reminder that you should consider sorting out your finances. Mistakes you have made in the past might also haunt you. The Five of Pentacles is not a good sign when it comes to questions relating to love. It can be an indicator that the person you love is not feeling the same way. And just like the figures on the card, you might feel like you were left out in the cold. Six of Pentacles. Generosity is easy when done with a surplus. Still, it is good if done with proper modesty. The Six of Pentacles means is that you are in a position where you have a good relationship with your income. Like the main figure in the card, the amount of money that you bring in and your expenses are well balanced, and you are fortunate enough not to have any stress. You are also grateful for all that you own and can happily share your wealth with others. As you can tell from the imagery in the card, the Six of Pentacles can be about charity. You can either be the man giving away money to the needy or a beggar gratefully receiving what you need from a wealthy donor. If the card is showing that you are the giver, you have built up wealth and you are now able to help others with financial assistance. You may have lived long enough in the darkness to be able to see the light. You are thinking about giving to charities or helping someone who could need your support and was in the same position you were before. The Six of Pentacles does not have to be about material gifts or money. It can also mean your time and presence. If the card is showing you are one of the beggars, you could be receiving someone else's charity. This could help you recover, so take the help. You will be able to repay the kindness in the future. You may also be able to find ways of becoming self-sufficient in the future. Despite this situation, you should be mindful that you should not become desperate or submissive during this time. 7 of Pentacles, time for contemplation, which will lead to splendid ideas. Once they are ripe, these ideas will create prosperity. The meaning of the 7 of Pentacles relates to investment and effort. It refers to the end of financial or material hardship. If you have been putting in time and effort in your work, it signifies that your efforts are paying off, and they are going to pay off in the future as well. If you are looking to invest, the 7 of Pentacles suggests that you are ready to put in a lot of effort, time, and work into whatever you want to achieve. It reaffirms you of your long-term vision and helps to show that you are not restricted to seeing results in the short term only. It shows how much you value the investment because of the effort that you are willing to put in. The 7 of Pentacles is also related to fear of failure. You do not know whether you are going to reap fruit from your hard work. It could also signify frustration when there is a delay. You may have been putting a lot of effort into your projects, but it does not seem to bear any fruit right now. The good thing is that it means that you are learning from your failures and mistakes. It may initially not seem like it, but mistakes allow you to look into how to better invest your time to get the most out of your future ventures. 8 of Pentacles. Work on the plan, think things through. You will prosper to the extent you take the trouble of being well prepared. This card indicates a time that you have to work hard and focus entirely on your tasks. This is not necessarily a negative situation, but this means that you must really strive to be the best. The task that you need to accomplish can be personal or professional. No matter what type of task it is, do not be afraid to ask for help when things get overwhelming. The 8 of Pentacles refers to the efforts that you undertake. There is a possibility that there will be a lot of things that you need to address. Hard work is essential, but you still need to find a balance. When it comes to work, those who are seeking employment should expect that the nature of their job will be demanding. The 8 of Pentacles also indicates that you need to be confident in yourself that you will be able to fulfill the job. For those who are currently employed, you will be responsible for carrying out more tasks and responsibilities. Never hesitate to ask the assistance of your co-workers. In terms of love, your work may possibly be affecting your relationship. Regardless of how demanding your job is, you need to make some time for your emotional connections with other people. On the matters of finances, the 8 of Pentacles may signify financial assistance that you have been hoping to receive. Be careful on how you are going to spend this money. Remember that this is a fruit of your hard labor and not luck. When it comes to health, the 8 of Pentacles can mean that it is time for you to commit and work hard in order to improve your health. You must stay observant about exercise and diet. 9 of Pentacles. Prosperity in so many ways. Time to lean back and enjoy the wealth, primarily the pride of having reached it. This 9 of Pentacles card indicates that a seeker has reached a stage in their lives where they are confident, independent, and self-sufficient. Through hard work, this person is now ready to enjoy money, leisure, and material comfort. The difficulties that were faced in the earlier journey appear to be over. The 9 of Pentacles brings not only joy, but also the feeling of security and freedom that material wealth can bring. Looking back, the seeker can now celebrate the difficulties, the struggles, and the hard work that lined her path. Her previous challenges gave her the wider perspective she needs to understand the spiritual value of her success. Knowing how difficult it was to get here, she intends to enjoy every single day that is given to her. Sometimes this card indicates that the seeker has not yet reached completion in their journey. There is something that is missing here, the element of her community and relationships. The gifts are meant to be shared, and yet this woman is so far from home. The Nine of Pentacles can also be about a specific time period of this person's life. This time is about self-discipline and grace. Diplomacy and grace will lead to the desired outcome. Ten of Pentacles, intellectual stimulation, wisdom, knowledge, and the exchange of those with inspirational people. The Ten of Pentacles deals with permanence and satisfaction. The card shows that everything you have put your efforts into for a long time will pay off in the future. It suggests that everything will work out well in the end, for you have always kept the long-term picture in view, choosing to take no shortcuts. Your legacy is due to stand for quite a long time to come. This is a relief, for the path to get here has been filled with setbacks and challenges, making this point of the journey even sweeter. In the card, the aged man is able to sit back and relax while watching the lives of his children and grandchildren. The satisfaction he derives from his achievement is connected in his children's happiness. The meaning of the Ten of Pentacles also relates to the happiness that you experience because you have planted many seeds of happiness and shared in the lives of others, particularly family members and relatives. It points to the importance of these people in your lives. The Ten of Pentacles symbolism is rooted in both financial success and stability. It shows prosperity and lack of financial struggle. It also asks you to make decisions that will not only have positive results in the present but also in the long term. The decisions that you make should produce positive results that last for generations to come, gradually benefiting to your family as well.